like we're getting ready to hear from them.
So we want to start in by just checking in with your body. So you might be seated in a chair right now. You might be sitting on the floor, but we want you to just notice how your body feels. How does your body feel in the classroom? How far away are you from your teacher? Maybe from your friends. Just notice where you are within the space you are right now.
Now, begin to notice your body. Is it tired? Are you guys happy? What do your fingers feel like? Just notice how you feel right now, and we'll ask you to think about this feeling in a little bit.
So, can you hear the sound of your own breath right now? It may be a weird thing to kind of try to pay attention to, and you may have to be really quiet in order to do this, and it may sound like a whisper. Try breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. It may be like pretty hard with your mask on right now, but just think about what the astronauts have to do in space when they breathe.
Did you know they can't even turn their heads in their spacesuits? Guess what? If they have an itch on their face, they can't even itch it in their spacesuit.
So this is why it's important for astronauts to learn how to take care of their bodies and their minds.
Are you guys ready to learn some more cool things about space?
So to start off with talking about space and astronauts, let's start with talking about the spacesuits that they wear.
Actually, Tyler, they're called extravehicular mobility units.
Okay, Travis. So why do the astronauts need to wear these suits while they're in space?
Well, the spacesuits are very important and have a couple important jobs. They give astronauts a way to breathe when they're outside the space station. They also keep pressure inside the suit to keep them safe. The suits the astronauts wear keep them from being too cold or too hot, and they also protect them from floating debris in space.
So, kind of like these suits, what do they have to do with self-care?
Well, self-care is asking yourself what you can do to keep yourself healthy, both in the mind and your body. So just like the astronauts wear their suits to protect them in space, we have our own suits here on Earth by taking care of our mind and body.
So the same way that the astronauts have the suits to help them breathe, we have our own suits here that help us when we need a breath of air.
Yeah, and that's not it. We also need pressure in life here on Earth. Sometimes it motivates us to do great things, even when we run into obstacles. Also, just like the astronauts have a cooling system, there are things we can do here on Earth to cool off when we feel stressed out.
And just like the astronauts need their suits to protect them from things hitting them in space, we can also use self-care to overcome or avoid difficult and stressful times in life.
Astronauts are no strangers to self-care either. Katie Coleman, who works on the International Space Station, said that for astronauts, self-care is an everyday subject. She says, if you're not able to take care of yourself, then you can't be the best team member possible.
So, if astronauts can practice self-care in space, then we can all make time for it ourselves. Katie said that astronauts practice self-care on the space station by exercising, talking to each other, eating healthy, sleeping well, and they even watch TV.
For us, there are many ways that we can use our self-care suit to prevent stress from getting to us. And positive affirmations are a great way of doing this.
So, Travis, what are those?
Well, positive affirmations are just nice things that you can say to yourself. What can you think of?
Well, I can tell myself a lot of things. I can tell myself that I'm enough. I can say that I get better every day. I can remind myself that I'm a great person. I can also remind myself if I'm going through failure or struggling that it's normal and everybody goes through a tough time now and then.
Exactly. And you can use those things whenever you feel you need them. Maybe right in the morning, when you're being hard on yourself, when you make a mistake or fail at something.
So, Travis, how do you know that these sayings work? Have you ever tried to use them before?
I have. So self-affirmations have been shown to decrease harmful stress. They can help us see and understand messages easier and clearer. They can make us less likely to dismiss harmful messages, for helping us respond to things in a better way. They've been linked to higher school achievement, and self-affirmations are connected to lower stress and overthinking.
Okay, so self-care is not only about being kind to yourself, it's also thinking about what you have and being grateful.
So practicing gratitude and writing what we are grateful for is great for building better relationships. Acknowledging these positives each day can lead to a domino effect of many positive feelings and actions throughout your day. There are many ways that we can practice gratitude, but creating a gratitude jar and submitting what you are grateful for is an easy and fun daily or weekly activity.
That reminds me of something called a gratitude jar. So, with the gratitude jar, you can write on pieces of paper different things that you're thankful for, and then you can keep them in one place. It can be a peanut butter jar, it can be a shoebox. It doesn't really have to be fancy. So, you can collect all these things that you write down, and maybe at the end of the day or at the end of the week, you can look back and be reminded of all the good things that you had in life and what makes you feel happy.
Tyler, you said it doesn't have to be fancy, but can we make it fancy?
You're actually in luck because I have our gratitude jar right here. So, with our gratitude jar, we put all sorts of stars around it because we're talking about space. Also, you may even like Bigfoot. So, we put a picture of Bigfoot on it. So, it's really fun to make a jar your own, and you really put anything on it and decorate it how you like. I like to look back on the things I'm grateful for, especially when I have some sort of failure or I think about a mistake that I made.
All right, everyone. So, how about we take a minute, turn to the person next to you, and share something that you guys are grateful for.
So we'll check back in with you in 1 minute. All right, so I'm sure all of you had some great things to share with one another. We appreciate that.
Hey, Tyler, I think it's our turn that we share some things that we put in our gratitude jar.
I think you're right, so I'll start. Okay, so I have in here a cold drink on a hot day. So sometimes it's the little things. Sometimes you're really sweaty, maybe you were running around outside, and then you just go to the fridge and get a nice can of soda or maybe a nice cold water bottle.
So the first thing that I wrote was I'm grateful for my dog. I don't know about any of you, but if you have a pet, they somehow have this magical superpower when they know that you're upset or that you just need a good lick on the cheek or a lick on the hand. My dog likes to come and cuddle in bed with me. She knows when I need it.
Okay. Okay, so I pulled out my parents. So family's really important to me. And my parents are always there, maybe when I'm having a tough day. They just always know how to cheer me up and make me feel better.
All right, my last one, just like Tyler said, my family and friends. This past year has been pretty difficult for everybody, and I don't think I could have gotten through everything in school without the support of my parents and my friends. They've really helped me every single day become a better person.
Okay, so we're gonna do one last one. Oh, okay. So here's one. So when I was in high school, I went to a conference that talked all about leadership. So we got picked out of a hat in this big group of people to speak in front of everybody for 5 minutes. And we had to come up with something right away. So there was no practicing. I ended up doing really bad, and I was so nervous that I could barely get a word out. I ended up doing really bad, and looking back, actually, it was a really important experience, and I'm grateful that I went through it.
Wait, so you pretty much failed your speech?
Yeah, it was great.
But why would you be grateful that you failed?
Well, I did fail but I also learned a lot from it. So it just happened that I got picked first, and everybody was just as nervous as me. I talked to some kids, and they said I actually did pretty good for being the first to go. I also learned not to be as scared speaking in front of a big group of people. Just like we're talking to all of you now, really, the failure that I experienced ended up being a really good thing because it helped me become a more confident speaker. So, failure is more normal in life than many people think. Too often, we get too down on ourselves for making mistakes from time to time, but it's normal. Instead, we should see failure as a chance to make improvements and become a better person.
You're right, Tyler. Failure really is an opportunity to learn and improve in disguise.
Hold on, we lost you guys for a second.
Just move that down.
You might need to do it.
Yep. Just 1 second. Technical difficulties. All right. So, like I said, failure is an opportunity to learn and improve in disguise. We can also go to others for advice, avoid talking negatively to ourselves, and practice gratitude.
So, yeah, even astronauts, as smart and as talented as they fail from time to time. Jessica is an astronaut who said without taking a little risk, you may not be able to accomplish great things. That is okay, and you're actually expected to fail along the way. That is true for her and all the other astronauts that she knows.
Yeah. So, like when you get a bad grade, you can learn from it. Even losing in a sport can help improve the entire team as a whole.
That's right. And sometimes we experience different types of failures. For example, in relationships with others. Maybe we may come to the end of a friendship, but out of that, we can learn what we want to see in a friend and what's important to us. We may even disappoint or upset our parents from time to time. But out of this, we can learn better how to talk to them, and it can end up helping us. Travis, maybe you can think of a time when you experienced failure and it ended up helping you out.
I think I can. So, I recently had a really big test, as one does in college, and I was a little bit overconfident. So, I didn't really bother taking the time necessary to study for the test. And it turns out when I got the grade back, I failed. I didn't do nearly as good as I thought I would, which originally upset me. I was upset that I didn't do as well as I wanted to. But I took that failure and used it to motivate me to study harder and better and learn new ways to study for tests in the future.
Okay, so now, everybody, we want to put your teachers on the spot, and we're going to ask you to take 3 minutes, and we want your teachers to tell you about a time when they experienced a failure and why it ended up helping them. So we're going to check back in 3 minutes. All right, so we came back a little early, but we want to thank you, teachers, because it's important to know that sometimes we fail at times, and we can be overwhelmed, but this doesn't always have to be a bad thing.
So, do you know what else helps when you're feeling overwhelmed? Breathing exercises.
Well, Travis, we're breathing all the time. What are breathing exercises?
So, focusing on your breathing is an easy and fun way to relax your mind and body. In stressful situations, it might be helpful to just take a second, pause, take some big deep breaths, and calm yourself down. To regain your focus, taking a quick moment to take some deep breaths is also really helpful.
So, Travis, you said breathing exercises, but what ones are the good ones?
Well, Tyler, I'm glad you asked. So these 3 exercises are my favorites for de-stressing and clearing my mind. Let's all learn some together. So the first one that I want everybody to learn is called the deep belly breath. So Tyler and I here, we're going to demonstrate and we can all do it together. So for this one, I want everybody to put one hand on their belly, put one hand on your chest. We're going to take a big deep breath in and let that air out nice and slow. So ready? Take a big breath in and let it out. Did you guys notice how your belly and your chest rose up when you took the big breath in? Let's try it again. And this time, take a little more time to notice the rise and fall of your chest and belly. Ready? Take a big breath in and let it out. Awesome. So the next exercise that I want everyone to learn is called the shoulder roll breath. So like the title says, this one is all to do with your shoulders. So again, we're going to take a big breath in, but this time I want you all to roll your shoulders up towards your ears when you take the breath in. And when you get ready to let it out, we're going to roll our shoulders nice far back. It's going to relax us. So ready? Everybody take a big breath in and roll your shoulders up. Ready? Let it out and roll your shoulders back. Okay, let's try it one more time. Ready? Big breath in, roll your shoulders. Let it out. Awesome. All right, so the last breathing exercise that I want you all to learn is my favorite. It's called the smelling flower exercise. So everybody pretend you have a really pretty flower in front of you. We're gonna take a big breath in because this imaginary flower smells really good. So of course we wanna take a big step. So put it in front of your face, and when we're gonna breathe in through our nose with a really big breath and then let it out with our mouth. Ready? Take a big sniff in and let it out through your mouth. Awesome. Let's try it one more time because we really want to smell this flower again. Ready? Sniff in and let it out. Just like you're blowing away a dandelion. Awesome.
Okay, so how do you feel after learning the breathing exercises? Maybe you feel a little more relaxed or happy. Maybe this is one of the first times that you paid attention to your breathing. This may be able to help you going forward.
Now, we have a little activity that we want you all to think about. Looking back when we talked about what spacesuits can do, we can pretty much say they're super suits. So, if you guys have the opportunity to create your own spacesuit, what would you guys give it? What kind of superpowers would you want your suit to have? And think about how that would help you.
So I want to start by showing off my super suit. So I gave mine wings, and I also gave it a camouflage suit so that it could go invisible. I think if I did that, I'd never be able to lose a game of hide and seek.
Definitely. So my super suit that I colored here, it would be fireproof. I want to be able to go to any planet that I want, whether it's on fire or whatever, I want to be there. And also, if I could have any kind of suit, my suit would have built-in ice cream sandwiches. That's right, we have an ice cream sandwich that the astronauts would eat in space. And Tyler and I here are going to try it out together. It's very crumbly. Break it in half. There you go. Let's try some under our mask. I think we're going to leave the space food for the astronauts.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, we'll leave that food to the astronauts.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take a quick minute and you're just gonna say something to your neighbor about what superpower you would give your super suit. We'll be right back. Okay, so thank you guys for doing that. So when astronauts go up into space, they wear this special suit that kind of gives them superpowers. We talked about how the suit can control how hot and cold they are. It even helps them breathe, and it protects them from all the things floating around like dust and even meteors. And just like Travis's suit, the astronauts actually have a pocket where they can keep all their favorite snacks while they're working.
So we asked everybody to talk about what kind of superpowers your suit would have, like your favorite snacks. Maybe somebody wants the suit covered in Legos. Keep those things in mind, because by the time some of you want to become scientists, you guys might be able to make a suit with some of those powers. Spacesuits for our astronauts are being changed and improved all the time. So what other improvements do you think it should have? Scientists have used their imagination and creativity to come up with all the ideas that the spacesuit has now.
So you guys have been really great, and now we just want to do one little exercise that teaches you the difference between relaxation and tension. Tension is another word for tightness. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your hands and you're going to ball them up as hard as you can, and you're going to keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. Curl your toes a little bit, make sure everything's very just squeezed, and now slowly release everything. Slowly let your hand open back up, and now everything feels totally different. So this is a good thing to use when you need to relax, maybe before bed in the morning or even before a speech. After going through these exercises, we want you to look back and think about how you feel now maybe compared to the beginning. So we hope that we helped you somewhat and that you can continue to use these things that we showed you from now on if you think that they can help you.
So we just wanted to take a second to thank everybody for joining our workshop, and we hope that everybody is ready and excited to talk to the astronauts in a little while.
All right, guys, that was awesome. Thank you so much. So I hope everyone enjoyed the presentation, the workshop, and the download is anticipated to begin at 10:30. So I'm going to share a link. You guys should already have it for the attendees, but you can click on that to go to watch it, and it'll be around 10:30. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.